Hi guys, just waiting for a few more folks to join in. So we'll start in the next 3 to 4 minutes. So afternoon guys, I believe we are good to start now. So guys, first of all, thank you so much for joining me on a Wednesday afternoon for this webinar. Yeah, so it does speak, a lot about your interest in data science and analytics. So guys, before we get started, let me just start with a quick introduction about myself. So my name is Chet. I am a part of the admissions team for the analytics programs at Great Lakes Institute of Management. Guys, we have been involved in analytics education now for over 5 years, first through Great Lakes and then through Great Learning. So guys, being one of the early movers in the space, we have had close relationships with the analytics industry and the companies. Over the last 5 to 6 years, we've been able to understand the market, what exactly it is that the companies are looking for when they're hiring, what are the big opportunities that are there for professionals like you and me, and more importantly, what are the things that are essentially required to leverage onto this opportunity. So guys, the way now we've planned this webinar out is that there are two major parts to it. So the first part is about the analytics landscape, what's happening around us, what are the opportunities, that you and me have when it comes to the analytics industry, and why is this a critical skill set for professionals around. The second part of this webinar would be about the program at hand, which is the postgraduate program in data science and engineering. what is the program all about, how we've exactly devised it, what makes it unique, and then the frequently asked questions. So guys, you can type in any questions that you might have in the chat box, and I shall try and answer all the questions towards the end of the presentation. So guys, let's just get started, with some of the key facts about the analytics industry. So guys, the analytics industry is projected to grow 8x in the next 8 years. The revenue, which was $2 billion in 2016, is expected to reach $16 billion by 2025. And basis our estimates, it would be even higher than this. So guys, what you need to now understand is, when an industry grows at such a rapid rate, the opportunities that the professionals get, is also incomparable to any other vertical or any other domain. So NASSCOM recently had shared a data wherein they had mentioned that by the end of this year, India would be needing close to 2 lakh analytics professionals. And going by the most optimistic figures that we have at hand as of today, we are currently at about 15 to 20,000. So there is more than a 10x gap in the demand and the supply of candidates who are well versed with the analytical skill set. That's why the ones who are actually equipped with the right skill set, they are enjoying that monopoly, and they are making huge amount of money. So guys, as a professional, what's important for you is to leverage onto this massive opportunity that awaits you. But again, as I said, the keyword is for you to be equipped with the right skill set that is required to leverage this. In our own conversations, that we've had with the corporate partners that we have identified that currently there are close to 600 firms that are actively looking for analytics professionals. And this again confirming what the need of the hour basically is. So guys, overall, these 3 facts, the growth in the revenue, the gap in the talent supply and the demand, and the companies that are looking to hire professionals, it highlights the massive opportunity that analytics can provide for professionals, like us. More importantly, take a very, very common example, of let's say the IT industry, so to say. So there are companies like a TCS, there is an Infosys, if and for a moment you leave apart, the IITs and all of those colleges. Now, for the last 10 to 12 years, these companies have been hiring candidates in bulk, and their packages or the CTCs that these companies have offered, it has, remained constant between 3 lakhs to 4 lakhs. So, and it's not as if, there has been no inflation for the last 10 to 12 years. But these companies are just not, increasing the pay packages. The reason for that being very simple, that in those industries, the exact opposite of what is happening in analytics is happening. Okay, if the requirement for those companies is 5,000 candidates, what's available to them are 5 lakh candidates, which is why these companies as such never felt the need to increase their packages. So it has been floating from a 3.2 to a 3.4 to a 3.8 for the last 10 years. And the exact opposite of this is what is happening in analytics. That if the requirement is, hypothetically speaking, for 5,000, what's available is 500, which is why, as I was saying, now these 500, are enjoying that monopoly and they are making money. So, this again presenting a very clear picture of why analytics, is the industry to be in right now. So guys, let's just quickly take a look at what is it that is driving this change, and the data revolution that is taking place. So across the globe, across industries, across businesses, and even as consumers and customers, the amount of data that we are consuming, as well as the amount of data that we have been producing, it has been growing exponentially. A quick look at this chart would show you how data has been exploding every 4 years or so. So guys, there have been a few trends that have made this happen. Now, obviously, the first trend is that the business's perspective on data, has now changed. Earlier, if you talk about especially the mid to late 19s, data was being seen by companies as a cost or as a liability. But now companies have actually started to see data as an asset. You think of any company, let us take the examples of the ones that we frequently use. For example, a WhatsApp or an Amazon or a Flipkart or an Uber, for any social media companies or any of these e-commerce companies, so to say, data is what, is a key asset for all of these companies. It is the better control and hence, better analysis of the data, which eventually helps them make better business decisions and hence provide better customer experience. Let's just consider the case of online shopping. Irrespective of whether you show up on a Flipkart or an Amazon, you would see that anytime you're adding something onto the cart, or anytime you are just browsing a product, the platform automatically starts, recommending certain products basis your interests. Now, in analytics terms, what this is typically called is a recommendation engine. Now, this recommendation engine is completely built on you as a consumer. What are your likes? What are your dislikes? It is completely based on your profiling that these companies do. And what is your consumer behavior, which again is gauged by the amount of data that they're able to capture about you. So now, guys, now what this all means is that companies today need better infrastructure, need better capabilities, and they need better tools to capture this data. This again meaning that there's a huge opportunity for professionals, like you who are looking to build a career for themselves into analytics. Guys, a lot of you, must have heard the saying data is the new oil. But a majority of you might not be aware how this actually, came into being. If you talk about the top 5 companies of the world for the year 2005, the top 5 companies of the world in the year 2005 were all oil companies. And if you talk about the top 5 companies today, an Uber, Amazon, Alibaba, there's Google, there's Facebook. All of these companies are completely data-driven companies. Hence, this saying came into existence that data is the new oil today. So oil is what was leading the economy back in 2004, 2005, and data is what is leading the economy as of today. So guys, moving on to the next slide, I assume a majority of you, might have seen this infographic. So this basically, presents a picture of what happens around us in an internet minute. So now these are all companies that many of us are consumers of, or many of us are users of. Now, what's important is that you pay attention to the scale that is being spoken of here. And keep in context that all of that mentioned here, is actually happening in 60 seconds. And this is obviously for 2017. For 2018, I'm assuming the numbers will be far bigger. So in 60 seconds, Google, sees about 3.5 million search queries. Facebook has close to 900,000 logins. YouTube sees about 4.5 million views, and Twitter has close to 452,000 tweets sent. Now, as aspiring analytics professionals, let's just see what kind of a picture is this infographic presenting. First, obviously, is that we are all living in a data-hungry world, and which obviously is going to increase as we move forward. Now, guys, beyond that, just imagine if there are 3.5 million search queries happening on Google in a minute. Now, each of those search queries would then throw up so many points for data analysis. Imagine the amount of data mining and analysis that Google would be doing. Close to 900,000 logins happening on Facebook. and each of those logins, further then create so much of data through the videos that we share, through the chats that we have, through the pictures that we share, through interactions and all of that. Guys, through all of that, Facebook is able to profile their customers, so basically, which again, they sell to their advertisers and make money, and which subsequently is making it one of the most valuable companies as of today. Okay, so all of these companies, data is the driving factor, and not just for these companies. This is so basically this is an example of some of the some of the social media companies that we have. You talk about any vertical, any domain. It can be healthcare, it can be automobile, it can be a consulting, it can be manufacturing. Any vertical, any domain. You know, each and every company, today is relying on analytics to help them come up with better business decisions. What products should they come up with when it comes to marketing? What's their target segment? What is it that is giving them the best of results? So it is all happening basis analytics. I'll give you an example as well. So, for example, the Google. Google is able to see what people search for. Facebook, what they are actually sharing, and Amazon, what they buy. Now, so these companies, they're owning app stores and operating systems, and they rent out computing power to startups. So basically, it's in a sense of saying these companies have a God's eye view of activities that are happening in their own markets and beyond. They can actually see when a new product or a service gains traction, allowing them, to copy it or to simply just buy the startup before it becomes too big to pose a threat to them. So a lot of us, think that Facebook's $22 billion purchase of WhatsApp in 2014, it does fall into the category of shootout acquisitions, which essentially eliminates potential rivals. So, and all of this they are doing just basis analytics. They, do not have any other systems or operations in place for them to help them out with this data. Guys, with this, let's just move forward to the next slide. So, guys, why is data analysis a required skill set? Okay, so you touched upon a few points already. So, further emphasizing upon that. So this is a report published by Gartner. Every knowledge professional, has to be a data scientist today. Analytics, guys, today is not something, as I was saying, which is restricted to a particular vertical or a particular domain. Even our own alumni who've graduated from our analytics programs are working across domains ranging from an IT to a banking to a consulting to manufacturing to e-commerce. Now, if you have a close look at the graph, you can see there has been, an exponential growth in the analytics market from 2016 to 2017. And this has been there across all sectors. And what's expected is that the growth is going to be even higher for 2017 to 2018. So recruiters, guys, today are no more looking at candidates who are just equipped with fancy skills, fancy degrees, and diplomas. They actually want candidates with specialized skill sets and degrees, and that is exactly what we are trying to do. So, guys, a bit about the data industry and the jobs. So, guys, if you just notice, these are some of the articles highlighting what we have been discussing so far. So if you notice the first article, it is probably a few weeks back. Did it a few weeks back. So it was published in the Business World magazine, where it says that close to 90,000 jobs are available in data science and analytics in the country right now. It's not even about the world; it's just about the country. Close to 90,000 jobs. Just imagine, guys. Similarly, there's another article highlighting how data analytics jobs are facing a shortage of skilled talent. And this again is from the same magazine, the Business World magazine. And then there's, LinkedIn, guys, a portal that a lot of us use to, increase our networking circles, to find jobs and all of that. So basis LinkedIn, the fastest growing jobs today are in data science and machine learning. Similarly, there is another article highlighting the data scientists today, are actually the highest paid ones. According to Glassdoor, to be a data scientist is the best job in the US. Guys, so all of this again presenting a very clear picture of the massive opportunity that awaits and the need to capitalize on it. So guys, this brings me to the end of the first part of the webinar. So now the second part of the program, as I had mentioned, is about the program at hand, which is the postgraduate program in data science and engineering. So guys, this program, let me just quickly start with a brief about it, and later on we'll deep dive into it. So this program essentially caters to people who recently completed their graduation or people who working. Their work remains from a 0 to 36 months or a 0 to 14 months or so. So the early career professionals, so to say. So with that intent in mind, this program was made a full-time program because somehow we did resonate, we do resonate that thought that the learning that happens sitting in an actual classroom is incomparable to any other mode of delivery. So with that intent, we made this program a full-time program. At the end of the program, the placement part happens, so placement drive also gets conducted. So yeah, so let's just start with it. So before the program, guys, a bit about the Great Lakes Analytics credentials. So guys, as I had mentioned, we have been the first ones to get into analytics education. So back in 2012, 2013, when a lot of us weren't even aware of what analytics is, that was when we had launched our first program into analytics. So right now we have close to 8 top ranked programs. More than 5,000 students have graduated from our programs and are working at leadership positions across analytics industry, across various companies. We've delivered more than 2 million hours of learning into analytics. There are close to 300 industry experts who are empaneled with us, who act as mentors to a majority of you guys, would be taking up a number of your guest lectures and everything. And then we have close to 25 of the best data science faculties of the country. About the rankings, so guys, we've been ranked #1 by the Analytics India magazine for the last 3 consecutive years, 2015, 16, and 17. We have been ranked #3 in the 1-year programs by the Outlook magazine, and we've been ranked #4 in private B schools by Careers 360. So guys, the data science and engineering full-time program, as it says, it is for fresh graduates and early career professionals who are going to build their careers into data science and analytics. Guys, this program is for you. Obviously, if you want to build a career for yourselves into data science roles and companies, if you wish to have an academic pedigree, which I'm assuming majority of you would want to have that is respected in the industry and can help you get a job, not just get you a job, but rather help you all throughout your career, wherein you want a program where you want to learn through in-person classroom sessions and hands-on learning, and where you want to acquire the data science tools and technologies that are sought after by the leading analytics companies. Upon completion of the program, guys, you will be able to apply industry relevant techniques such as the regression, predictive modeling, this clustering, time series forecasting, and many other such techniques. You will be able to structure a business problem into an analytics framework using statistics and data modeling. You will be able to perform data cleansing and data transformation operations. But most importantly, guys, you will be able to present yourself as an ideal candidate for analyst, data engineer, technology analyst, and other such roles, within leading analytics companies. So guys, if you see the image in the middle, so this is what the certification that is awarded to you guys upon completion of the program, it looks like. So it states that you've successfully completed your postgraduate program in data science and engineering from Great Lakes Institute of Management. So guys, this is, yes, a full-time program. I was sharing that to you. It has basically 4 months of classroom sessions and the lab sessions followed by a 1-month capstone project. Then the classes happen and the lab sessions happen Monday to Thursdays, 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the Great Learning Center. Industry relevant techniques and everything. Placement assistance. I'll deep dive into placements at the later stage. Guys, let me just quickly move to the next slide. Yeah. So about the admission details, guys. So the program currently is at 4 locations: Bangalore, Chennai, Gurgaon, and Hyderabad. The eligibility criteria for the program states that the candidate should have 60% or above in their 10th, 12th, and bachelor's degree. The program is open for candidates in the final semester, and as I said, recent graduates with 0 to 3 years of experience. Candidates who are awaiting their final graduation results can also apply. And the program is best pursued by candidates with graduation in a quantitative discipline like engineering, mathematics, commerce, science, statistics, eco, etc. One thing that I'd like to clarify here itself, guys, and this I'm assuming would be one doubt that a majority of you might have, which is that I am coming from a non-programming background, I'm coming from a non-technical background. Would I be able to compete in the program, or rather, would I be eligible for the program? So, guys, this is a very, very big misconception that a lot of candidates have about analytics, which is that analytics is majorly all about programming. That's not at all the case. Analytics has got a lot to do with statistics. Statistics, you can say, in a way, is a prerequisite for analytics, which is why the eligibility criteria says that the candidates who've completed their graduation in a quantitative discipline, because what is a prerequisite is for you to be comfortable with numbers, because if you're comfortable with numbers, hence you'll be comfortable with statistics, which is a prerequisite for analytics, not the knowledge of a programming language and all of that. At the same time, with that being said, whatever programming knowledge that might be required in the program, we've made that a part of the curriculum itself. So all of that would be imparted to you guys during the curriculum. The selection process, guys, now. So the interested candidates can apply by filling a simple online application form. The application form is first reviewed by the admissions team, and then a list of shortlisted candidates is announced. The admissions team then reaches out to the shortlisted candidates. So yeah, so it says here an aptitude test, but the aptitude test has now been removed. So now the shortlisted candidates are all made to appear in an interview round. Now previously there was an aptitude test followed by an interview round with equal weightage given to both. Now the entire weightage has been assigned to the interview. So that's a change that we've made in the selection process. So the shortlisted candidates, as I said, then directly appear for the interview. Post that is when they are being told whether their selection has been done or not. The program fees is 3 lakhs plus GST, which includes everything: your tuition fee, your lab access, learning materials, both soft copy as well as hard copies, the cafeteria access that is given to you guys on the day of the classes, so lunch and everything is provided by the institute itself on the day of the classes. Accommodation is not a part of the program. For candidates who are looking for an education loan or something, so yeah, we do have tie-ups with several lending partners. There is HDFC Credila, Avanze, there is Zestman, there is Credila, and other such options. So for any candidate who is in the need of an education loan, so they're connected to these loan partners. Now the program curriculum, guys. So as I was saying, the 5 months they've basically been divided into 4 months of classes and lab sessions followed by a 1 month project. Now the 4 months of classes and your lab sessions basically are essentially divided into 3 different modules. So the first module is your data science foundation module. So the data science foundation module, which is the first module, basically takes up the first month 10 days or so. The topics that get covered under this module include a data analysis using R, then there is data analysis using Python, and there's data visualization in Tableau, statistical methods for decision making. Now under data science using R, the subtopics that are covered are EDA, there is data wrangling, there is summary statistics, there is inferential statistics, there is T-squared test, there is ANOVA. Then under data visualization in Python programming, the topics that get covered include a Tableau, there is EDA in Python, there is DCOA, there is matplotlib, and then there is Seaborn as well. So guys, these are some of the subtopics that would get covered under these broader topics, which essentially makes up for the first module of the program, which is your data science foundation module. Guys, once this module is done, the second module of the program then is the machine learning module. Machine learning, guys, in a way you can call is the backbone of the program. Machine learning gets covered both in R and in Python. Now, some of the subtopics for machine learning include supervised learning, there's unsupervised learning, there's time series forecasting, there's ensemble techniques, and under supervised learning, there's regression, CART, naive, Bayes, KNN, etc. Under unsupervised, there's classification, PCA, etc. Then there's bagging, boosting, time series forecasting, etc. All right. So, guys, these are some of the subtopics that get covered under the second module, which takes up the next 1 month, 10 days or so of the program, which is your machine learning module. The third and the final module, guys, for the program is your data engineering and the domain applications. So under data engineering, the topics that get covered include SQL programming, then there is Hadoop, there is Spark, there is Spark SQL, there is Yarn, there is Hive, etc. Under domain applications, the domain applications that we would be covering would include text mining and sentiment analysis. There is marketing and retail analytics, and then there is financial and risk analytics. So, guys, the focus for the program, as I was saying, has always been to make this program, a mix of both your classroom learning as well as your lab sessions and your practical learning. Analytics is actually more about practical applications rather than theory, which is why every week you guys do attend your classes Monday to Thursdays, and whatever you guys basically learn Monday to Thursdays, you apply that in your weekly project, which happens Friday to Sundays. So which is in a way an assignment sort of a thing for you, which you guys have to complete and then submit every Sunday evening. Evaluation is a constant part of the program, so you guys would be constantly evaluated on different parameters. There would be lab tests, there would be classroom tests. So all of those tests, there are certain marks allocated to the attendance as well. So all of that would be a part of your evaluation process. So guys, once the classroom sessions are done, post that is when we get on to the Capstone project, which is your 1 month hands-on project. So guys, whatever you guys were learning during a week, you were applying that in your weekly project. Now, whatever you guys learn during the entire 4 months, you guys then apply that in your Capstone project. So guys, Capstone project basically is an industry-oriented project wherein you're working under the mentorship of an expert into analytics. So you guys would be having your weekly calls and everything with your mentor. Then you'll be giving them updates of what is it that you have done till now, what are the problems that you're facing, and all of that. Now, guys, one of the reasons that we wanted to make a Capstone project a part of the program was that since a majority of you guys are either complete freshers or even the ones who worked would majorly the work experience as such is not that huge. So the last thing that we wanted for the recruiters to feel was that even though you guys are pretty good when it comes to theoretical knowledge, but as such there is no practical exposure to analytics. So that's what the idea is behind keeping this 1 month project, to basically give you that much needed practical exposure to analytics. As I was saying, this project would bring in all the learnings that a candidate would have gained in the program, and the candidates would be working on problems relevant in the industry using techniques and tools that they've mastered during the entire program. So guys, once the Capstone project is done, that is when we come to the placements part. So I'm assuming a majority of you would be very keen to know how the placements part would be happening. So guys, the placements part basically starts from your resume preparation sessions, whatever skills you gathered during the program, how exactly are those to be highlighted in the resume. Uh, Once the resume preparation sessions are done, then the second part are your interview and your mock interview sessions. So basically, what is it that the companies look for, and what are the frequently asked questions during analytics interviews. So the idea is to prepare you guys for interviews. The third part, guys, and which is the most important part, is the placement drive. So at the end of the program, a proper placement drive gets conducted. Now, excuse me. Yeah. So at the end of the program, guys, a proper placement drive would be conducted wherein multiple recruiters would participate. So, guys, basis the conversations that we've had till now with companies, the recruiters that would participate would majorly be from two sets of categories. One would be the big leading analytics companies that are there. Okay, so the likes of Fractal Analytics, there is New Sigma, there is SmartCube. Then there are the analytics divisions of a TCS, Cognizant, there is American Express, there is eValueServe, there is ZS Associates, there is Paytm, Flipkart. So we are expecting a major chunk of these companies to participate in the recruitment process. So this would be one set, guys. The second set of companies that are expected and that would be huge in number to participate in the recruitment process would majorly be startups. So guys, startups today are in a dire need of analytics professionals. They need candidates who can look at data from a different perspective, come up with a better analysis of the data, and hence help them to basically come up to better business decisions. So a lot of startups would also be participating in the recruitment process. For the CTC bid, guys, what we are looking at right now is a CTC of somewhere between 6 to 11 lakhs for freshers and a 9 to 13 or 14 for candidates with work experience, which is entirely basis, for work experience, guys, which is entirely basis the amount of work experience that you have, whether that is relevant or not. So all of that gets taken into account as well while your compensation and your designation gets decided. For freshers, we are expecting it to range between 6 lakhs to 11 lakhs. That entirely now depends upon how you as a candidate are performing in the program as well. How much of a value are you able to showcase to the interviewer or to the recruiter. And so yeah, all of this, guys, would be happening at the end of the program. So for this program, guys, a placements team has been set up. That placements team basically works in conjunction with the placements team that takes care of the placements for the PGDM program of Great Lakes Chennai. So yeah, a lot is happening on the placements front, guys, and yeah, as and when more details are available, so yeah, we'll keep that posted on the website as well. But yeah, till now, this is what is expected, and this is what basically would be happening as well. About the faculty, guys, so these are some of the best data science faculties that are available across the country right now, and all of them would be teaching to you guys during the program. There is Dr. Mudit, who is completely an analytics man. He spent his entire career into analytics. He was a director for analytics at Deloitte. He was the executive director with Angel Broking, and so he's been a faculty for quite some time. So he's someone who comes with a vast experience when it comes to analytics. Then similarly, there's Dr. Narayana, there's Dr. Sridhar, there's Dr. Basu, Mr. Gurumurthy, and apart from them, a number of other faculties as well. But yeah, these are some of the top ranked data science faculties of the country. About the industry experts and guests, guys, so these guys would be taking up a number of your guest sessions. They'll be acting as mentors to you guys during the capstone projects. So as I said, guys, the faculty is going to be a mix of the corporate faculty as well as your industry mentors. So one of the reasons that we wanted these guys to take up certain modules of yours was that these guys, since they are from the industry, so these guys actually know what is happening in the industry, what is required, what are the skill sets that are important for you basically to have. And yeah, so as I said, these guys will be taking up a number of your guest lectures, Q&A sessions, mentorship sessions, and all of that. So as if you look at this image, this is what an analytics e-portfolio looks like. So at the end of the program, an analytics e-portfolio will be built up for each and every one of you. Guys, just imagine for a moment, when you're actually going down for your interview with the company, and along with your resume, you presenting your analytics e-portfolio as well to your recruiters. So this, shows what the title of the project was, what are the tools and the technologies that were used in the project, what was the summary, what was the conclusion of the project. So this is the Capstone project, and then similarly you list down all your 12 to 13 weekly projects as well. So the kind of impression that it creates in the mind of the recruiter is that this is not a candidate who's all about theory. You've done a number of projects, and that would basically make you stand out. Lastly, guys, the Great Learning Alumni Success. So, as I said, more than 5,000 professionals have gone through our various programs in analytics and data science. 66% of an alumni have, successfully transitioned to business and functional roles in the analytics industry within 12 months of completing the program. Let me just highlight this to you guys. Now, these alumni transitioned from programs that never came with placements. So none of these programs actually, came with placements, and this is when that this is the result that we are seeing. So now this is one program wherein we are saying that this program comes with placements. So we are going out of our way to get the best of the companies, the best of the roles for you guys. So yeah, the number of transitions in that case would be far higher, far higher. So yeah, these transitions have been made from an IT to analytics. It has been they've been made from non-tech roles such as business development, finance operations to analytics, and similarly the companies to which the transitions have been made. And as it says, the alumni are working in analytics leadership positions across various companies. All right, guys. So this brings me to the end of the presentation. So any questions you guys have, please, start typing them in the chat box, and I'll just quickly start answering them one by one. All right, guys. Let's start into the Q&As. The first question is from Ashish. Ashish says, "Sir, is there any need of programming and coding skills?" So yeah, Ashish, as I said, whatever programming or coding skills that might be required, we are a part of the curriculum itself. So no need to stress upon that too much. That would be taught to you guys during the first week of the program itself. Then there is a question from Arun. Arun says, "Do companies hire freshers for data analytics?" So Arun, let me just quickly give you a brief of this. The way we went ahead for this program was that last year, November and December, before we began the admissions process for the program, this program was being presented to corporates. Okay, so the idea behind doing that was to get the validation that if we as an institute, we have a particular pool of candidates with us who are coming from this experience range and who are equipped with this skill set. So our company is actually interested in hiring them or not. Now the kind of response that we got from these companies was that a majority of them right away wanted to come and hire. Wherein we had to tell them then that we are yet to even launch the program. So that's the need that these companies have. The reason that they want to hire freshers or people with less work experience is very simple. That for someone who is having the same skill set as you might be having after this program, but an experience of 10 years, that resource obviously would come at a much higher cost. So this is the reason that these companies are actually looking to hire freshers and people with early with lesser amount of work experience, because from the company's perspective you get these resources at a lesser cost in comparison to someone with 10 years or 15 years of work experience. I hope I answered your question. Yeah, then there is another one from Ashish. Ashish says, "I am 2018 passed out. Fresher, am I eligible for recruitment?" So I am asking because data analyst job Seeking candidates should have job experience. Is it true? I think I just answered this question, Ashish. It's the same question. Then this question from Sanskriti. Sanskriti says, from which part of India do recruiters come mostly to seek analytics professionals? Sanskriti, see, there is no, there is no part as such. It is entirely basis, the companies where the company's requirements, lie. So it's not as if you guys, take up, let's say, the program, for example, say in Gurgaon. So it's not as if the companies that would be coming would only, offer you Gurgaon. They might offer you Gurgaon, but they might have, then openings in Bangalore as well. So that is something that we cannot negotiate with companies at the time when we're asking them to come and participate in the recruitment process. But yeah, to some extent, it is majorly the metropolitans. There's Gurgaon, there's Bangalore, there's Chennai, there's a major chunk in Hyderabad as well. So majorly, these are the major parts that the analytics companies are based out of. Then the next question is by Ganesh. Ganesh says, show the slide with class timing and days. Ganesh, the classes would be happening Monday to Thursdays, 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. So Monday to Thursdays are the days. The timings would be 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. for both your classroom session and your lab sessions. This Sampath, currently I'm working, but I want to learn. Is there any alternative for me? Sampath, please get in touch with the admissions team. Then there is a question from Vivek. Vivek says, how good should one be with R programming? Vivek, tough for me to quantify this. How good should one be? So it varies person to person, and what exactly it is that you call good might be very good or might be very bad for me. So I don't think a question that I can answer right now how good one should be. Then there is one from Mihir. Mihir says, is there Q&A session? Then there is another one that Mihir says, I heard you have a center at Pune. Why isn't this program available in Pune? So Mihir, that is something which is in the pipeline right now. So yeah, we are planning to have a center at Pune as well. So as of now, it's not happened. The moment it happens, yeah, so it would be conveyed to you guys as well and put up on the website as well. And there's another one from Rahul. Rahul says, can you please tell me how many batches have passed out in this program and how many people are in one batch? So Rahul, the first batch is now sitting for placements. The first batch for the program commenced in the month of May in Bangalore, which was the first one. The second batch then commenced in the month of July in Chennai. The third one commenced in the month of August in Bangalore again. And then the fourth is now commencing next Monday in Hyderabad. The fifth then commences 1st of October in Gurgaon. So the batch that commenced in the month of May in Bangalore is now sitting for placements. And the answer to your question, how many people are there in one batch? So yeah, so it basically differs from location to location. So you can get back to the admissions team once as to which location you are interested for. Then there's another one from Mihir. Mihir again says, I don't have programming knowledge as I am a civil engineer and digital marketer wanting to pursue my career in how difficult. So Mihir, I more or less the same question that I answered, that you are coming from a non-programming background. So yeah, as such, that's not something that can stop you from pursuing your career into analytics. So that's what the idea has always been, to make candidates across streams wanting to get into analytics, to make them get into analytics. Then there's one from Abhilash. How does the loan system work? Abhilash, please get in touch with the admissions team for this. Then there's one from Kavi Kumaran. Kavi Kumaran says, I'm working as a QA engineer with 2 years experience. I'm looking forward for a career change into analytics. Which program would you personally suggest, DSC or PABI? See, Kavi Kumaran, firstly, important for you to understand that whenever a program is launched, there's an audience that the program caters to. Okay. Now, PABI, caters to a much more mature audience. The average work experience for BABI, it remains around the 7 years, 10 years, 6 to 10 years or so, you can call it. Okay. that program caters to a working audience. Since it caters to a working audience, that program does not as such come with placements. Okay. Moreover, that is a program which is meant for working professionals, and this is a program which is, as I said, a full-time program, and it comes with placements. So two very different programs. Now, since in that program, majority of people coming are with 7 years, 8 years of experience, what is expected is that these guys are already aware of 50 to 60% of the stuff, and the other 40 to 50% is then taught to them. That program is majorly, it's 30% offline classroom and 70% online. In DSC, because majority of you are freshers, the focus is on the fact that as such you do not know anything. The focus is to start everything from scratch. Okay. So I hope I've answered your question. Then there's a question from Shakti. Shakti says, will the placements be in the location that we choose, or will it be across India? So Shakti, the placements would be happening for the center that you would be choosing, because all the locations, all the centers do not graduate at the same time. Now, if they are not graduating or at the same time, we can't keep the placement process one for them. So the placement process would be happening as and when the batch graduates. Then there's a question from Karan. Karan says online courses have been getting valued in recent times. I'm having 3 years and 9 months of experience in power plant industry. In that case, if I opt for this program, then can I get a salary hike after completion of this course? Karan, I do not know what your current salary is, but yeah, obviously you can expect a hike, because if you're getting into analytics after this much amount of experience, this gets considered as well. Now, how much of a hike that you might get is now something what your current CTC is and all of that. So a lot of factors involved before I can completely answer this question. Then there is a question from Ojasvi. Is Capstone Project will be done on kind of industrial data? Yes, Ojasvi. The Capstone Project will be done on industrial data. Then this is a question from Pawan. Pawan says, when does this program start? Pawan, the commencement dates are different for different centers. So please reach out to the admissions team for which exact location you want to know. And there's a question from Arun. Arun says, what is the nature of work in data analytics? So Arun, I believe that is exactly what we've discussing. The nature of work is that you are given a huge pile of data, and you have to come up with good and relevant information from the data, which can actually help the company to reach out to basically reach to a good business decision. So this is very broadly speaking. It's different for different roles, but this is majorly what people who are into analytics do. They use the different analytics tools and technologies that they know to look at information from a different perspective and to come up with better and different insights. There's one question from Sojanya Chanda. So Sojanya says, what is the scope for data analyst and data scientist jobs? So Sojanya, I believe, which is exactly something that we covered in the webinar as well, the scope, the amount of jobs available right now, the amount of the salaries that people into data science and analytics roles are withdrawing. So I believe I've answered this one. And there's one from Kavi. He says whether final year second semester students are eligible for this course. Yeah, so see, Kavi, since you're free, as you've mentioned that you'll be free for 6 months, since you've completed all your courses, yes, you can go ahead and apply for the program. The candidature would be taken forward. And there's one from Hemant. Hemant says, is this certificate useful for MS? Absolutely, Hemant, the certificate is very useful for MS, which is why we are providing transcripts and everything as well, because when you're actually trying to go for your MS, a lot of universities and colleges ask for transcripts and everything as well. So we are doing that, keeping in mind that a majority of you might want to travel abroad at some point in time. So yeah, this would be very useful for you. Then there's a question from Ganesh. Ganesh says, I have experience with Amazon as a software developer. Will the placement cell assist me to join Amazon back as a data engineer? Ganesh, see, I can't guarantee you a particular company per se that yeah, you come from Amazon, will help you get back to Amazon as a data engineer. That is not something I can promise you. That might happen because yeah, we are in talks obviously with Amazon, Flipkart, and each of these companies as well. So that might happen, that might not happen as well. That you are able to go back to Amazon itself. You might, let's say, you might be able to go to Flipkart. So yeah, companies, a lot of them would be coming. What I cannot promise is you one particular company. I hope you get my point. And there is the one from Kavi Kumaran. Kavi Kumaran says, let me just open up the question, guys. Kavi Kumaran, I hope I've answered your question, which was which program would you suggest, DSC or BABI? So I've laid out the information in front of you for both the programs. So now you need to decide what kind of a program, first of all, you would want to go for. Whether you want a full-time classroom program or you want, an online-offline mix kind of a program. So considering that you're someone with only 2 years of experience, I would highly recommend you to go for data science and engineering than BABI, because BABI just might not serve the purpose for you. Then there's a question from Kavi. Kavi says, do Great Lakes provide accommodation? No, Kavi, accommodation as such is not a part of the program. Then there's one from Prashant. Prashant says, what should be the minimum package for this job? Prashant, majorly what we're looking at is for a CTC between 5 lakhs to 11 lakhs. As I said, in case you're a fresher. Then there is Abhilash. Abhilash says, what's the difference between business analytics and data science course? Abhilash, I believe I just answered this question. Difference between BABI and DSC. And then there is another question from Mihir. Mihir says, as I'm in the process of a Canadian PR, can I get a job in Canada immediately after completing this program? As when see, Mihir, again, this is not something I can promise to you. Now, these are things that might happen. These are things that might not happen. But not things that I can promise you that whether you will be getting a job in Canada per se. Then there's another one question, which is machine learning a part of data science? Yes, guys, the second entire module is machine learning. All right, guys. So I hope I've answered majority of the questions. So guys, this does bring me to the end of this webinar. It was fantastic, interacting with all of you. So guys, for any personalized career counseling or any other queries you have, you can always reach out to the admissions team on the phone number or on the email ID that is mentioned. Also, a reminder, guys, that tomorrow is the deadline for you guys to apply for the program by completing the online application form. So yeah, in case you need any information as far as that goes, you can reach out to, again, the number and the email ID provided. All right, guys. So thank you for joining me today, and yeah, so have a good day. Thank you.